Hey guys, welcome back to Growing in Discomfort podcast, a podcast where we navigate through uncomfortable life situations or day to day experiences trying to find lessons and, most importantly, the growth we most usually fail to see. A wise man once said, the greatest growth happens in discomfort, and honestly, life has never been the same. This year has been such an eye opener for me. I feel like I'm at a point where I am more aware than I was of myself, of the things that I like and don't like, the things that I want in life, the type of friends that I want to have around me, and yada, yada, yada. And today's episode focuses mainly on the things that I realize that I like and do not like. I am not even ashamed to actually admit this, to be honest. I feel like I am so done feeling shy or feeling ashamed of being myself, of admitting that I actually don't like this, I like this, and stuff like that. So I actually thought it's high time. I actually started also, being able to openly talk about these things on the podcast because that is also my goal with the podcast. And to be honest, I am so ready to share this with you. And I hope you have just as much fun as I am having right now listening to it. Okay. So I'm going to start actually talking about likes. I have quite a lot of things that I like. It's just the simple things, to be honest. And remember, this is actually about me. It's me alone. And if you like the same things that I like, then good for you. So I I'm actually I don't know. I don't know if I would like call myself an introvert at this point because this year has just been about me, stepping out of my comfort zone, doing things that I never thought I would be doing. I cannot tell you how many times I've been out this year, which is something that I have never even done in my life. Actually, um I started learning how to even do my own makeup because bruh, I stayed home the whole time. I had few friends. The friends that I had were like, staying away, far away from me. And I stay in the city. So like some of my friends are like in some villages in Germany. So I had been locked up for quite a long time since I moved to Berlin until I actually started living with one of my friends who was quite an extrovert, and she started, like teaching me this lifestyle. I was not comfortable with doing makeup at all. No matter how pretty I turned out when someone else did it on me, I did not like it and I didn't want to do it. I don't know. And I also feel like it's not that I didn't like it or want to, I just didn't know how to do it. If I'm being honest, I didn't know how to do it. So I don't know if actually calling myself an introvert is the right thing to do. But I also wouldn't call myself an extrovert because I still like my own time, to be honest. I like my own space, solitude. I like my peace. I can be extroverted actually around people who bring me peace. And I tend to isolate myself when I feel like my social battery is running low. I tend to avoid, just because I don't want any conflict in case my battery hits zero and I just don't even want to say a word to anyone. Anyway, I also hate conflict. I don't want to end up having conflicts with the people that are around me and stuff like that. Um, yeah, so I like my own space. That is point number one. The second one has to be my job. One thing that I realized this year was actually that I love my job, especially when I started practicals in the hospital where I was working in the Shirogi. I don't even know how you say this name in English, to be honest. In a Shirogi station. Um, there was a lot to learn. That's the difference between working in a hospital and working in an old age home. An old age home, you just get to like do the same things every day, body care, feeding the patients, making sure that they're comfortable, entertaining them, cleaning their spaces, disinfecting, stuff like that, all those things, planning their care. And in the hospital, there's just a lot, it has to do with medication, has to do with different types of, diseases or conditions. It's just there's a lot going on, and there's a lot to learn because every day it's something new. And I loved that so much. I enjoyed it so much. But then shit happened, and I didn't even end up completing my hospital practical because I had a lot of absence days, and it had to be cancelled. And unfortunately, I even have to like repeat the whole second semester, which I'm not even mad about anymore, surprisingly, because I feel like now everything that I'm doing is just like a repeatance of everything I did, and I'm taking it as like revision, you know, and I'm actually enjoying it that way. It's giving me motivation when I'm in class and I'm sitting and the teacher is talking about something that I know, and I can fully participate. It's so fun. So I don't actually I'm not hurt about it anymore. It's fine, you know. But one thing that I know for sure is that I will not repeat the same mistake. That is one thing I know for sure. So I do love my job, and it's one of actually I feel like I should have also made a session for things that I love. Yeah. So I do love my job. Another thing is reading and listening. I love reading novels a lot. I've only actually, unfortunately, finished one book, and I feel so bad because my plan was to finish like 12 books, which is crazy because how dare I set such high expectations of myself when I know that I cannot fulfill them. You know, I have a lot of books that I have left in the middle. I haven't finished them. And I have just actually another one that I'm actually about to finish, which will make it the second book to have actually finished it this year. Both different genres actually, which is crazy because the other one is a science fiction book and the other one is about this beautiful slave that was South African history stories. It's actually really nice. Every time when I'm holding that book, I feel like I'm in South Africa, in Cape Town. I feel like I'm walking beside that woman when she's going through everything she's going through. And that's what I love about reading. You get to like use your own imagination. It's very different from actually watching a movie. And I enjoy it a lot. So I love reading. But I haven't actually met my expectations when it comes to reading this year. I love listening. I also love listening to people talk. I love listening to people's stories. I love things that, listening to things that keep my mind stimulated. I love, intellectual conversations. If my mind is not stimulated when I talk to you, I cannot pay attention. I zone out. But I do like listening to people when they talk, especially also if your voice is as nice as mine. I'm kidding. No, I'm not. I love journaling and podcasting. Oh my god, this is probably like my favorite. I love journaling. I like journaling. But it's something that I also did not do this year. That's the crazy part. I didn't journal as often as I usually like. That's actually how I realized that I actually love doing this because I have been searching for a beautiful journal that I can just, have carry anywhere I'm going in this world. But I haven't found it yet. I had a diary, but bruh, diary. How do you even say this word? Diary? Almost sounds like diarrhea. Anyway, I had one and shit happened and I got so mad I think I threw it across the room and it ooh, ooh. I know for sure that it doesn't look good wherever it is now. Yeah. I promise I'm not an aggressive person. I was going through a lot at that time and I got so overwhelmed when I was writing whatever I was writing. I just threw that book across the room. Yo, it hit the table and shattered in pieces. I bo I Anyway, and I love podcasting. The amount of joy I get every time I have to do an episode is crazy. But I can't explain why I don't do so many episodes anymore or ever. I don't know, but I don't know. I feel like I have been, kind of developing this passion, extreme passion for podcasting. It's like it's like a new passion has been unlocked all of a sudden. Every time when I think of doing an episode, I just oh, and I'm like a flower, when it gets water, you know what happens to it? Just the thought of it just does that to me. Yeah. And I think I'm actually most probably gonna be doing this often. Because today is a free day, that's why I have time to actually do it. But I'm always thinking about something to talk about and I always write it down. I think I've actually wrote down this episode details for a long time and I've just been feeling it, refilling and stuff like that. Yeah. Anyway, the next thing is I like intimacy. This is tricky because I mean intimacy, but I'm excluding sex from it. I like intimacy in the sense that I like an intimate environment, an intimate conversation, just intimate um connections. I don't even know if I can say connections or like I don't know how to put this. Actually, I should have done a little bit of research to it. But everything that has to do with intimacy, but not sexual intimacy. You know, oh, and it maybe a little bit that leads to sexual intimacy, like, cuddling, kissing, touching. And I mean like decent touching. Anything that is intimate in my mind. I like it, but not sex. And I'm not saying that I don't like sex. I do like sex, but sex is a different topic. It's a different topic. Maybe we'll talk about it some other day. Maybe we won't. You never know. I love property and interior design. Just thinking or talking about it, I imagine houses, I imagine beautiful couches, I imagine beautiful trees, garden, landscape, all those beautiful things you can imagine. I am drawn to that. I love it so much. I think growing up, I used to watch this show called Property for You, or this home in like DSTV. Those people who have DSTV, those home channels where people are like flipping houses and stuff like that, decorating, interior design, all those things. I grew up watching them. Cooking shows, I watched them too, and I love those things a lot, to be honest. I always dreamt of building a multi-res property back in my country, because I feel like, there is a shortage of houses, and especially for students, especially places where they can feel safe, and just be students. But I don't know. Only God knows at this point. So another thing is I love having friends and family around. But I'm gonna be really honest. For a certain period of time, before my social battery runs low, because the moment it runs low, my face changes, my mood changes. I don't talk. I just I start pulling back, you know, and it happens rarely, but it does happen. So that's why I had to like say it. I love though having friends and family around, but I also love in that moment having to have time for myself, just go into a room, take a nap, or like read something, or just, be on my phone or something. I don't know, but just time alone so I can like recharge. I love this one is funny. I like immense laughter. I don't know why I keep saying I love instead of I like, because I'm talking about likes, but I guess these are the things that I love. I mean, what's the difference between love and like? I guess like is like not so strong and love is like strong. I'm so confused, but it doesn't matter. I like a man's laughter. There's something about hearing a man laugh, especially your man. But I ain't had one in 4 years. But anyway, I love a man's laughter. Just something like, damn, you laugh. Like it's so beautiful to hear. You guys should laugh so often. I actually remember most guys, especially the ones closer to me. I can remember, like it's in my head. I can like remember how they laugh, how they sound like, and it just when I hear that, I picture their faces. What am I saying? But yeah, I like a man's laughter. The next one is thoughtfulness, kindness, values and morals in a person, those types. I love someone who is thoughtful, like not in a sense that, oh, I saw this and I thought of you. That also, but in a sense that you like I don't like people just who are selfish, because if you're not selfish, like if you're selfish, then you only think about yourself. I don't like that. But I like people who are thoughtful, just you're not only thinking of yourself. I don't know if I'm actually describing thoughtfulness in the right sense here, or it has also something to do with selflessness. I'm not sure, but I love people who are thoughtful and kind. Being kind says a lot about the person that you are. Not only being kind to people around you or people that you actually care about, like everyone. Being kind to everyone says a lot about you and the way you were raised. That's how I feel, because my mom raised me in a way that if like growing up, even the elders in the village, they would say, oh, you can never even leave the yard without me offering you a cup of tea or a cup of juice or whatever. And that's the one thing that my mom taught, and that's the one thing that people actually liked about me, that I'm a very kind person back home. But I feel like I've kind of lost my morals because I haven't been home in like 4 years, props. And my mom passed away, obviously, and I just feel like I don't know. I've kind of lost touch with my culture and stuff. I feel like so. I don't know. Excuse me. Oh, this is funny. I like the smell of coffee in the morning, but I realized this a long time ago, but I wasn't actually allowed to drink coffee because it's caffeine. It gives me heart palpitations and stuff like that. I start feeling dizzy. I have headaches and stuff like that. And I actually drank coffee this morning, but it doesn't smell the same. I love the smell of a coffee when I smell it from someone else, either from someone's mouth, gosh, or from someone just making coffee and I can smell it. I love it. I love waking up to the smell of coffee in the morning. It's beautiful. It's like waking up to the smell of rain back home. When those first drops hit the earth and you just yes, that's what I like. So this is about all the things that I've actually written down so far. Um yeah. So I'm gonna go to like dislikes. Let's talk about the things that I do not like. I don't like when people make noise in the morning. Except when I make the noise. I am not a morning person. I'm not a morning person at all. I need about 2 hours to defrost in the morning because I'm still frozen. I'm still thinking about what I dreamt of. I'm still thinking about how I could have slept on my side instead of waking up laying, watching the roof or something. And I don't like it to make noise in the morning. Like you could be a little bit thoughtful. Don't make so much noise around me in the morning. I'm not a morning person. I hate noise in the morning. I can't explain this. Yeah. The crazy part is when I was talking about likes, I was saying I love this, I love this. And now that I'm talking about dislikes, I'm like, I hate this and I hate this. And I also realized that I actually made small notes like, oh, I hate this instead of I dislike this. But it doesn't matter. One thing that I also don't like is pity. I absolutely despise pity. I hate pity. If I'm telling you something and you're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Ugh, ugh. Even just talking about it just makes me cringe because I could be telling you something sad or something bad or something even worse that happened or that is happening to me. And I just want you to listen. I don't even want you to say anything. I just want you to listen. But then if you start saying, no, no, I'm cringing so bad. I don't know why, but I hate PT. Oh gosh, I hate PT. I can't. Next, I don't like when people come to my house empty-handed. I don't like it. Oh gosh, I hate it. Why? You couldn't even find like flowers? Maybe because I also don't like going to people's houses empty-handed, you know? But it's crazy expecting the things that I put out there to happen to me. You know what I mean? So I get it. Some people actually can't think, oh, let me just grab juice. Let me just grab a like bottle of wine or something we can snack on while we talk. You know. But people just becoming empty-handed, and I've stopped inviting people to my place. To be honest, because fuck, get out. And some of them actually expect to be fed. Who said I had food? How? Anyway, I don't like lies. I grew up to a very honest household. My mom taught me honesty to a point where sometimes when I was having conversations with her, I would just say things that even some of her children would look at me and be like, hey, I mean, some of my siblings, or, things that a child usually probably shouldn't even say to an older person, culturally. But that's how much honesty she taught me. And sometimes she would even, I think I remember quite a few times where she came for me asking for honest opinions, and I'd be like, or sometimes when she did something, and I'll be like, no, you know? And I feel like that is one reason why I hate lies, because you can just be honest. You know what I mean? I would lie probably to save someone's life, but I wouldn't lie unprovoked. I don't know. Like, if I lie, believe me, there's a time when I'll come to you and tell you, oh, you remember that time when I said this, this, and that? I was lying. That's how honest I am. And actually, it's actually a value or whatever. How do you call it? It's something that I like about me, this honesty. I feel so dizzy from the coffee that I drank this morning. It stresses me. Anyway, and I hate gossip as well. There was a time when I was at my workplace and there were colleagues gossiping about me, actually to the boss, like the main boss in our old age home. And I felt so belittled on that day because whatever they were talking about, it could have been easily prevented in a way that it had nothing to do with them. Me doing what I did didn't inconvenience anyone at the workplace, didn't inconvenience our schedule or the patients or my colleagues. No one at all. And for them to be talking the way they were talking about me, and most importantly to their boss, they were not even complaining. They were just gossiping. It's not like I did anything to them or to the patients or to the schedule. No. But they were gossiping about me. And what I also don't like is the fact that there was no sign that they are talking to the boss. I don't know. This doesn't come out right, but there was no, there was a lack of professionalism in that conversation. It was like just colleagues having conversations, and it pissed me off because if you, as the boss, talk this like allow my colleagues to talk this way about me. If I have a problem and I come to you, this is exactly how you'll be talking to them. You wouldn't even resolve the issue, you just gossip more. It's more like the I hope this makes sense to whoever is listening out there, because I cannot explain this in it. Like I cannot even go to that man and be like 1 2 1 2 without him thinking he wouldn't reprimand anyone. He would even like tell me that he spoke to those people, but he didn't. Like I cannot trust him because how can a colleague say I'm stupid? Like I work in a psychiatry and like compare me to a patient and you don't say anything. Stupid like a psychiatric patient and you can't say anything to that? That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy to me. That's one of the days when I thought, you know what, I'm done with this place and I wanna change my nesting station. And this is not the first time. The first time was actually a racist issue. They were talking about how how you first come to your place and you're friendly, you're like open to everyone, just nice. Obviously not open in that way, but just nice. And I felt bullied because a lady comes to me and she's like, "Oh, I had colleagues talking and they were saying you're a bitch. And they're saying you want him and you want him too." And when I look at those hymns, one looks like a character from Toy Story with the big ears. And one looks like someone I wouldn't even look at when I pass down the road. And mind you, these are old people, almost in their 40s. One is actually in their 40s. And I was only 22, bruh. They're literally like like I'm half their age. And I want them. I felt bullied because, first of all, this is exactly the same thing that I went through growing up as a kid. I was so like outspoken, very friendly, and they call it as being too forward. But I'm actually not being too forward. I'm just being myself, you know? If I was to be forward, then it wouldn't look like this because this is just me. And also it was like kind of like a racist issue because black women are taken like to present the way they present themselves and to be built the way they are built, as to have like possessed the spirit of Jezebel, and this is how they lure men, and stuff like that. And I don't know. Crazy part is I don't even know if my boss knows about this, but I know my spokesperson does. Or he did, then he left. But then the new one probably doesn't know. And he probably also doesn't know um what happened with the boss and stuff. And I honestly don't want to talk about it anymore because I had to change the way I was interacting with my colleagues at that moment, from that moment on, and also from that moment where I found them gossiping. And I started being too cold to a point where I wasn't even smiling at work. And one of them would be like, "Oh, Lena, you should smile more often." Ah, this is also something I don't like. Telling me to smile more often for what? Huh? Huh? No, I don't like this line. You should smile more often. Mm-mm. No, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Anyway. So to cut the story short, I hate it when people talk about me when it's absolutely not necessary because I do not find myself talking about people like that. You know? Anyway. One crazy thing is I don't like walking barefoot, especially in the bathroom. I don't care. I hate cold floors. I don't know. I just hate cold floors. I can't explain it. I don't like it. I don't, period. Especially, I feel like the bathroom is probably the dirtiest place ever. And it honestly is, to be honest. It is. It is dirty. So I hate walking barefoot. I could try like having socks on, but eventually I would take them off because I also hate working on socks. Or I would put on extra shoes. You know. Yeah. So this is very interesting. Like I feel like I already tried to touch up on this topic when I was talking about intimacy. I wrote and I quote I have a love hate relationship with sex. Hmm. This could be very long. um I don't know. Yay. This one is actually very tricky, eh? It's tricky. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know like I cannot explain it, but I just have a love and hate relationship with sex. I probably have been celibate for like 3 months now, or two and a half. I'm not sure, but it's been that long. And oh gosh, oh god, this is crazy. It's also like a little bit uncomfortable, but okay, I'm gonna open up. So I love sex to a certain extent. I love it when I have it with the one person for a long time. I like it a lot when I'm in a relationship. I don't like it. I feel like ever since my last relationship 4 years ago, I have had a very 60% hate, 60% love relationship with sex. Because I remember we broke up 2020, yeah, 2020 with this guy, and I moved to Berlin, and I was visiting my sister, and I ended up staying. I was supposed to like visit for like 3 months, but I ended up staying for I think 9 months because of Corona and stuff like that. Interesting thing is about this whole thing is my flight to Germany was the last one. It was actually cancelled when I was in Johannesburg. I had just landed in Johannesburg and we got the news that there were no more flights flying into Europe. But they had to make an exception for, us, thank God. And that was the last flight. So I just had to say that because if it's time, it's time. You know what I mean? It was time for my life to change and it did. So obviously we couldn't survive like the long distance relationship. I could, but he couldn't. And to be honest, I'm just gonna put it out there. He had another girlfriend, and I was probably the side chick. And oh wow, this is growth. This is growth right here because I'm talking about it and I'm not even feeling ashamed of my experience when it comes to relationships. But I was so in love with this guy. Oh my god, I was in love with him. He was like me in a male vision. This was crazy. This was crazy because we used to talk about this all the time. And no, I'm not in love with him. I'm actually not in love with anyone right now. And it feels so good to be free sometimes. So, like I said, we couldn't survive the long distance relationship. And I don't even know. I feel like ever since then, I don't know. I was celibate for quite some time, met someone, tried tried out dating, but I was honestly still hung up on my ex and it didn't work out. And I think after a while I met someone and I actually liked this person. Like with him it was worth a try, but he told me he wasn't ready when we were having those kind of conversations. So I left the city. I went back home. I stayed back in, Botswana, and then I went to SA to study the German language, and back and forth. And all during this time, I was celibate. And finally, I moved to Germany, but I moved to Essen, you know. And gosh, I'm not gonna hang my dirty laundry out there for y'all to judge. Remember, we listen, we don't judge. Okay. So I think that was around 2021, and I had just lost my mom. I flew like a day after her burial. Actually, didn't have even quite some time to mourn, and it was a really bad time for me. And when I'm going through something, I always have this feeling where I feel like actually, when I was going through something at that time, I always had this feeling that I needed to be with someone, intimately. I don't know why, actually, but I'm saying I had this feeling because I recognized the pattern that I was doing and I learned not to do it. So that was around 2021, around probably the year end. And I met someone, shit happened and I regretted it so bad because I was also so paranoid. It paranoids me so much, just, opening up to people intimately. Is that even a word? Like sexually, and you don't even know the person. You don't even know, like, you don't know the person that well, and you don't know their status, if they have infections, who they've been sleeping with, if they are even like, maybe they're, okay, I'm exaggerating, all those things. And I this was always like one of my regrets, to be honest. So every time when fall or fell in that situation, I would, excuse me, gosh, I would be so mad at myself that I refrain from repeating it. And I refrain in a way that I abstain. So that was 2021. The year was ending. So comes 2022. Remember, I'm trying to explain my love hate relationship with sex. Comes 2022, I set a New Year's resolution for me, and I'm like, celibacy. So 2022, I abstain, I'm celibate for 6 months, the whole time when I'm completing my au pair, until I had to switch families, move to Berlin. I'm still celibate. It's now June, and I've been celibate for 6 months. I come here in Berlin. I moved to Berlin. I'm with my sister. My sister's moving out. She's, moving out with, moving in with her boyfriend. So I can't stay with her anymore. And I have a new au pair family. And this one night, I feel like if my sister would have been home, not that I'm blaming her, but like this wouldn't actually have happened. This one specific night, she leaves, she goes to her boyfriend's place, and I'm just there. I was actually on the phone with my ex on that day. Like we still remain friends. I feel like it takes a certain level of maturity to actually remain friends with your ex and just have proper conversations, not sexual, not reminiscing about what y'all used to do and stuff like that, just conversation. But I'm not gonna lie, I was still hang up on him. And that night, just talking, I don't even know what I was packing, but I was packing my bags because I was, moving in with the new au pair family. So we like just talking and talking. I'm like, I had actually started reconnected with this one guy I used to talk to back in 2020 when I first came. And I rejected him because he's, one of those guys who are always bowling and stuff. And I'm bowling, bowling, bowling. You know what I mean? Yeah, one of those guys, you can see that he's living a decent life. He has the bag and stuff like that. And like I said, I was very introverted then, very, very introverted. My sister used to push me to go out. She had me download Bumble on my phone, Bumble BFF, so I can make friends and go out, meet people and stuff like that. It was crazy because it almost looked like I was depressed, but I wasn't. I don't know. She says it was a phase in my life where I was depressed, but I don't know because I was just living every day as it comes. I was home the whole time. If I'm in my room, I preferred a dark room. I would just lay on the floor, watch this, just stare at the ceiling, or I'd sit by the balcony and stare into space. I don't know, but that's what I remember from that time. So she had me download Bumble, meet friends. I made one friend that, we, kind of fell off, but she started following me again and stuff. And that's how I also started going on dates. That's how I also met this guy through Bamboo, and he texted me on Instagram. But I refused to meet him whatsoever because I was like, hey, I cannot. I didn't even know how to wear like walk in heels. I didn't like wearing skirts or dresses. I was like, if I meet this guy, I would probably have to put on heels and a dress and just just to look good next to him. He's probably gonna invite me to a fancy restaurant or whatever. And I was not ready for that. So now comes 2022, and I am now in Berlin. I just came from, Nordrhein-Westfalen, and we started talking. I think I don't even know when I posted that I was in Berlin or something, or my stories, or whatever. And we start talking. He's like, "Oh, let's meet up." And I'm in the call with my ex. I'm like, "Oh, this guy wants to meet up." He's like, "Don't go." Like, fuck yeah. And then I went, oh, I should have listened. Oh my God, I should have listened because yeah. What am I doing to myself? This is not a conversation I should be having right here, but I'm ready to talk about it. That month, June, before my birthday, remember I have been celibate for 6 months now because I have been celibate for 6 months now. So I meet this guy, we like go for a walk, yada yada yada, and then eventually we go to his house and we watch something, and one thing leads to another. And then the following morning, I'm gonna say this honestly, I don't like the way he was acting towards me in the morning because I get it, he had a work call and I was still sleeping, and I get a call from my host mom then, and she's oh the day before that I had went to meet them, and I was talking to the child, just making jokes, and she was holding one of my headphones, and I said, oh, if those headphones break, you should break yourself. It was a joke. I swear to God, it was a joke. I cannot say this to a child. Yes, I know that now. Please don't come for my head. Do not come for my head. I know that it's a joke. To be honest, it's a joke that I grew up saying. It's a joke that I was very familiar with. The people around me say it. Like if you are losing, if you're holding something, if someone is holding something that belongs to you, and you say if you lose that, you should lose yourself too. It's a joke. If I take something from you and you're like, if you take that, this, it's a joke. But I get it. I said it probably at the wrong time. So that morning, after I spent the night with this guy, um, I get a call, and this lady's like, just feedback on yesterday. We actually didn't like how you spoke to our child. How can you say that to a child? I'm like, oh my God. Look, I haven't even started yet and I'm already in trouble. And to be honest, from that moment on, I just wanted to change the family. I just wanted to move into a different family, whatever. Because, it's a bad start. And I was going through a lot of emotions that day. Plus, I had just had sex with this guy, and I was so pissed at myself because I was celibate for 6 months only to lose it to him. And then it was a lot. It was a lot to take that day. So I went back home. The crazy part is I meet my sister in the train. She's coming from her birthday place, like I'm coming from my, sneaky link or whatever. It wasn't even a sneaky link from my one night stand. This is what I'm gonna call it. One of the one night stands I'll probably regret my whole life. Fuck it. Anyway, she's like, where you coming from? Like, oh, I was with a friend. I was with this friend. She's like, oh, how is it? Like, oh, I slept at her place. It was nice. We watched movies and yada yada yada. So now, eventually, my sister finds out that I went to this guy's place, and she gets mad. You know, cut the story short. I end up blocking the guy because fuck it, he was making things difficult for me, and I had left the charger at his place, I kept texting him because my battery was dying, and my sister's mad at me because I'm being reckless and I'm just having, sex with guys I just met. What the fuck? You know? And I am putting too much information out there, am I not? I am. But we listen and we don't judge. We listen and we don't judge. Okay. So I end up blogging the guy and I sat down with myself. I sat down with myself and I asked myself, like, I replayed the whole scenario, the emotions that I was feeling when I was in the call with my ex, the emotions that I felt when this guy showed a little bit of interest in even wanting to meet me after all this time that I've been rejecting him. I recalled how far I have come. I don't even know, but I feel like the whole time I'm thinking about what I sat down in that moment and I thought of. I recalled feeling vulnerable and feeling like I needed someone to talk to because I had just, you know, cancelled one contract with this au pair family that I had because I was not getting along well with the kids. And I had to move to the city. I was moving into a different family. My sister was moving out. And I had bonded with that place a lot. And I'm just thinking I was in a very vulnerable state and I needed someone. Which is what I was talking about earlier on, saying there's a time when I was going through something, I would feel like I need someone to be intimate with. So I sat down with myself and I recalled all of these things and I realized this is a pattern that I'm always going to repeat if I didn't actually realize the things or the emotions or the things that led me to doing what I would do, even if it was like after 4 months of being intimate and I am going through something and I feel like, damn, I need hugs today. And then I go get hugs. And then I'm so mad at myself for the hugs that I get. And I so mad to a point where I stay another 6 months celibate. And then I go through something and I'm mad again. And like I go another 6 months celebrate and then I go through something, I'm mad again. And it's just a pattern that keeps repeating and repeating and repeating. So finally I sat down with myself and I told myself, so this is what you go through. This is how you go through it, and this is what you do when you go through it. But now, because you know that this is what goes on, this is what you're going to do. So from that day and that guy and blocking him, it has never happened again. And I'm so proud to say this out loud, cause Lord, I'm so proud to actually say this out loud. I don't know, but it's something that I like. I enjoy being able to learn from my mistakes and not repeat them again. I learned a lot from that experience. I learned not to give myself away because I felt like I could use a hug, I could use a little bit of intimacy. That's why I'm at a point where I like intimacy, but to a certain extent. And depends also on who I'm intimate with. This is also why I say I have a hate and love relationship with sex, because if I am not in a relationship with someone, I will not have sex with you unless I actually like you. And maybe this is also something that I still need to learn, or maybe I'm still hoping that, we could be together. Then I can go in that extra mile, because I like you. I'm actually in like with you. And we are two people, we have this thing together. So, you know, but I don't like sex when I have to like sleep with multiple people because I'm getting to know them. It will never happen with me. I don't want that at all. So after this whole experience with that guy, I was celibate for another 6 months. So basically, I could have been celibate the whole 2022, but because I had not recognized the patterns that I was going, like I was repeating, I had to repeat it for me to like recognize it and finally stop it. He's probably the only guy that I slept with that year. And comes 2023, I'm now in a new place. I'm now have started my training. I'm now aware of myself. I'm aware of all these things. I'm aware of my needs and all that. So I start deciding, you know what? Because because I do have this love relationship with this with sex and stuff like that. I'm like, you know what? Maybe a fuck buddy wouldn't hurt. And maybe a fuck buddy wouldn't hurt. And I had one for the whole of 2022, 2023, I mean. But then the crazy part is I would be intimate with him and he would tell me that I'm intimate. He's only intimate with me. But deep down I know that he's intimate with other people too. And the crazy thing is we would be intimate or be in this situationship, but for like a whole year and stuff. But I can count the times that we're actually intimate because I would probably go like 2 months without meeting him or without, saying, oh, let's meet up. Or he would like want to meet up and I would just say, no, I don't feel like it. I don't want to, could be like 4 or 5 times through the whole year that we were together. So obviously he was intimate with other people. So these are the times when I get paranoid because you can't tell me that during all these times when I wasn't giving it to you, you were not getting it from someone else. So because you have multiple sex partners, I am now very skeptical when it comes to like me giving myself to you. So how about we get tested? And guys, I will be honest with you, the guys that I've met do not get tested. I'm probably the one always getting tested and being paranoid and thinking, damn, I'm putting my health at risk for this and it's not even worth it. So at some point I end the whole relationship and stuff like that. But then I fell in love. Oh Jesus. I met a guy and I fell in love. I fell in love. I ain't gonna lie. I fell in love with the man he could have been for me. That's who I fell in love with. And when he didn't turn out to be the man I thought he could be, I was celibate again. Oh my god, I was celibate again for a whole 5 months. Hilarious! Hilarious! And he comes back in my life at a certain point back, and I'm like, bro, oh my god, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I like you and stuff like that. I forgive you for what you did to me, and then we rekindle our relationship, and now he is my situationship now. No, actually was actually because now it's been a while, and this is how things are at the moment. Like I fell in love probably last year, and we had a once off thing, and then comes 2024 and I'm like, you know what, I could use being celibate because I realized that this guy's intentions towards me are purely sexual, and the moment you show me that your intentions are purely sexual, nothing else, I don't want to be intimate with you, you know. But then I'm at a point where I actually genuinely like him because I like the idea of a man he could be. But then as time goes on, I see he's not. He's not the man that I thought he could be, but I really like you. So now I have to focus on what? Not liking you. So I go 5 months and then stuff happens. We meet again. And then it's now in a very tricky situation where I'm at a moment where I'm, talking to someone. I'm ready to let you go, but then you come back and you bring me back to square one. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you know what? Okay, fine. Another situationship I get myself into. And as often as we can, maybe after a month, 3 weeks, all that here and there, it happens. But then eventually I'm like, nah, this is actually not what I want. I like myself and I cannot continue putting myself under this cycle where I do this, regret it, do this, regret it, you know. So I have a very weird love-hate relationship with sex. So it's one of the things that I don't like because sex is not just sex for me. It's a lot more. I cannot be intimate with someone I don't like. It feels like it's forced. It feels like it's unwanted sex. So I probably have never been intimate with someone I didn't like. That's crazy because it doesn't happen like that. So it's something that I most definitely, the one thing that I would either want to change or stop, because I celibacy is something that I would do for as long as I can and just wait. I'm the type. I feel like I'm the type who can actually wait for the right person to actually come and have it however they want. But I'm not there yet because it's only been probably 2.5 months. I'm not sure anymore. Actually, I don't remember. That's crazy. I don't remember when last it was, but yeah, that's also one thing: the love and hate relationship with sex and liking intimacy. But it's still something that I need to discover. Remember, this episode is about things that I've learned about myself, but I feel like it's something that I still need to discover about myself and find ways to deal with them and all that. So it definitely does need an episode for its own. It's a very interesting topic now that I actually opened up about it. So this is my story. One thing that I also dislike is people who ask and never give back. It's honestly giving selfish 101 because no, and I have people that they always ask something of you, but it's not in them to actually give back. And if you ask something from me, I will help you willingly if I can. And I'm not expecting anything back from you. But I hate also something that I don't like is having to ask for help. I used to get in a fight with my sister because she would tell me, you keep things to yourself. It doesn't hurt to ask someone. It doesn't help hurt to be like, oh, I'm actually stuck. I need help. It doesn't hurt. But I am not able to ask help. But if you're a person and you see, you can't always know, obviously, but if you see that this person is stranded, then they probably need help. Do not wait for me to ask you if you've been asking me and I help you. No, I just feel like it's something that can, thoughtfulness. Be thoughtful. Don't wait for me to be like, oh, can you please do this for me? Or can you please, I don't want to do that. I don't want to. I don't really. I don't. I can't. I can't do it. So I don't like people who ask but never give back. I don't like selfish people. If I ever tell you you're selfish, it's probably because I care about you and it's something that I wish you would change for us to actually continue. But if you are someone that I'm just getting to know and I realize that you're actually selfish, no, I'm just cutting you off just like that because I don't want those kind of people around me. These are the type of people that you're going to suffer in your house from depression. And this person would walk in, come talk to you, walk out, not even like open the curtain, bring you a glass of water, or I don't know, clean your room for you. Because this is the type of person that I am. And I'm still saying this. It's crazy expecting to receive the things that you put out there. It's crazy. But if you it's thoughtfulness that I want for. I have a friend here in my house that I stay with, and there are times when I'm sick, no appetite, anything, sore throat, lying in bed, fever. She comes, I can tell her once, oh, I'm not feeling well, so that she doesn't wonder. I'm actually not well, and I'll be in my house locked, I'll be in my room locked in. This girl would go to the shop, get me something, get me either corona test to come test, see if I have corona, make a soup for me, give me meds. This is the type of friends that, like, these are the type of friends that I want. I have a friend also who, like, sometimes when you realize, oh, Lena is running out of soap, Lena is running out of, or toothpaste, she goes to the shop, she gets it for me. These are the type of people that I like to have in my life. These are the type of people also who will not come to your house empty handed. Them. Because I will also not go to their places empty handed. It's something that I'm learning. Oh gosh, I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot. So, yeah. So that's about it actually for today's episode. It has been good. I enjoyed it a lot, and I don't even need to do a lot of editing. Oh, how beautiful. Wow. I feel so good after doing this. And I feel like just talking about everything that I just spoke about, I've realized quite a few things too. And that is one thing that I like doing. Just recognizing new things, being able to learn from whatever you're going through, whatever talking about, for example, right now, things that I probably wasn't even aware of, I am now aware of. One thing that I also want to say when it comes to, I feel like intimacy is a really important topic. It probably just needs its own episode. That's one thing that I realized from today's episode, because a lot of people are actually confused when it comes to like getting to know each other. I also, I don't even know how to say this. I am not in a place where I could be saying, oh, I'm in a getting to know each other stage, talking stage with someone, but be intimate with them. Because if we are talking, we are talking. We don't talk with our private parts. That's the crazy part. This is the society that we live in. You have people who expect you to open your legs for them just because you are in a talking stage. I've done that once and I'll never do it again, because you just see it, nje. You just see it. It takes 1,000 years for someone to finally ask you to be their girlfriend, no matter how much you guys like each other. But then they still have these expectations. Why are you not asking me out though? Do you just want to smash and then eventually say, I can't do this anymore? Like, I feel like I don't know you that well. No, fuck no, no. And yeah, like I said, this is a very important topic that needs its own episode. And I feel like it's an episode that I'll probably most probably do with my friend when she comes back. And I'm really excited about it. Anyway, thank you guys for listening to this episode. It has been fun and very insightful. Remember, these are the things that I recognized about myself during the course of this year, and things that I most probably want my close people to know about me. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel at Growing in Discomfort. Don't forget to actually follow the podcast page and my page on Instagram. And don't forget to comment and rate the podcast on Spotify. Thank you so much again for listening, and hope to see you next time. Bye.